at 30 minutes. Did you see that?
I saw that.
I'm updating them now.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a glitch. See, that's why we have to what is all this? Um, that's why we have to always record backup. 3, 2, 1,
Yes.
0. Okay, I will go in and tag you if you want me to. What do you think?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes,
Edit,
you can.
post, Samantha. There she is. Boom. All right. Let me pull up YouTube so I can follow the comments. Okay, here we go. All right. A few people in the house. Okay. All right. There's Jana. Jana's here. Jana.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay. Not my show. You have to.
No, this
Yeah.
is so we are live on Rebirth
Yeah.
here on the Soul G network. And I have Todd as my guest today, my beautiful brother
Mm.
from another mother. Mm. And we're just going to open up to the flow, to the energies. It's been crazy, I know, for every single one of us. And it kind of when you start to open up, you start to see how towards the end of the year, like the last couple, maybe even few months, everything ramps up and everything gets a bit more crazy and accelerates. And it's now it's just kind of like, oh, okay, like this is how we flow every year. It's like fifth gear, sixth gear, like here we go. So you know how this flows, Todd. Whatever comes through, whatever we're opening up to. And even when you said, because it's been crazy. You're definitely not alone. We're not alone on this. No matter how you're experiencing it, no matter how people are experiencing, it's like a new level of um I'm gonna say mastery, but it pushes you. And I was talking to a group the other day. I'm like, I'm being pushed. It's a push, constant push. Like can't you can't well, I mean, you can relax through it, but you can't put it aside. You can't put it on the back burner. And we're just constantly being like shown. So much coming up, so much coming up. And we have this beautiful opportunity to actually sit with it and feel it and open up to it. And with this whole passageway being like this huge quantum jump, it's like things can actually move a lot faster when we're gifted that opportunity of like, see it. Don't delay, just forget about anything and everything. Your journey, your path, your emotions are way more important than anything else. And I feel like we're starting to, everyone at some level is being pushed to see more and to feel more. And here we are. Um, the constant death and rebirth, the continual dissolution of the old. Um, like everything's falling, everything's just continuing to fall and continuing to dissolve in different ways, for everyone. Um, and it's like it's beautiful. We're ready for this. We are becoming more and more and more and more ready to continually just let go, just let go of the old. We don't need it anymore. We can. And even with this community, it's like we're building beautiful networks and community that can sustain. I, I mean, eventually we're going to be able to grow and it's going to be able to sustain so many people. And it's beautiful. Oh, I can't hear you.
You're on it. That's what I said. No wonder I was saying stuff to you earlier. I'm like, oh, she's just not
Oh
listening.
no.
No, you're on it. You're on it. I can feel it. God, you said so much stuff. Okay, you said about the pushing. You said about the letting go part. You said about the community part. Okay, so like I've had a whole bunch of stuff happen. You know, it's November 22nd at 12:22 right now. And you know that
I love it.
it's exactly 60 years, almost to the hour, when Kennedy was gunned down in Dallas. There's something to that. There's something to that it's exactly 60 years. We're given the 369 and all that stuff and with the role that he played. Everyone knows it's been a very it's been a very full month for me in my personal life, and of course the work kept going and stuff, but so the first thing that happened for me was on the morning of the 8th of November. I woke up and I said to myself, we're on the other side. We're literally on the other side. Pop, I'm on the other side. All of that stuff is over there. Everything that's over there is over there. And I can treat it the same. In other words, it was our experience. Anything that was done in that experience doesn't have to be attached to us any longer. It's all over there. It's a memory. It just doesn't have the context that it used to have. It doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know. That's how I felt. And then I sent an email out, and then I got an answer, and then Morgan and I started talking, and we went through like a day of that. The next day, we got the intel. We need to record everything that we're doing. Okay, so we get into Zoom, and I guess you could say it was like a session, right? But I mean, we don't have to say, oh, we're going to go into session. We just started talking, and all of a sudden, these grandmothers showed up. Like, she goes, there's somebody here. There's a group of them here. I don't know who they are. I said, I know exactly who they are. I knew who they were because I've been with them so many times. I said, these grandmothers, these 13 grandmothers. She's like, oh my God, you're right. So that's what they told us, is what you're saying. They were funny, they were stern, and they were saying, hey, if you don't ignite and infuse the light within you, and this is what direction, telling us what to do, how to do it, what we can do to expand and integrate. They said, if you don't ignite and infuse the light within you, we're going to infuse it in you. We're not fooling around. We're the grandmothers. It's time to get this going. And here's the other thing. Julie Dara Roberts is here. Oh my God, Julie. She's the Solji cosmologist. She says lunar grandmother's 13 moons. I'm the 13th sign of Osiphus. I'm the 13th sign. Yeah, I'm the 13th sign. The Solji Fest is happening in that period of the 13th sign. So they told us a lot of things, but one was, let's do this. Let's do this now. They told us that the grandmothers were here, which really represents the mother, right? The mother, they were here at this time to assist us. And I'm assuming this is all of us. It speaks to the mother's energy. Like it's the top of the line here. You know what I mean? Like that's the council, that's the final word. And they asked some questions. They pissed me off a couple times, but I know them well. I don't disrespect them. I just said, hey, they asked me a question. I said that I'm calling bullshit on that. With all respect, I'm like, I don't get that. Why are you asking me that question? Like they have that shamanic thing. They play that game with you. And the whole reason that they did it was so I would go get pissed off and go for a walk in the bayou, and then it all come to me. And then I'm laughing. Then the shift came, and it came from
Yeah.
their shamanic questioning. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like where they're like tricksters, like they asked you a trick question, and the object of the question, yeah, don't fuck with the grandmothers. That's right. That's who I work for. But anyway, they ask you a question, and it's not the answer that you give; it's the response that they want you to get. So they wanted me to get pissed off,
Oh.
and because I questioned it. I questioned the validity of the question, and therefore those who were questioning me. And the grandmothers let me do this. The grandmothers are all about sovereignty. They're all about personal power. And so when I said to him, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm questioning that. Why would you ask me that question when you know who I am? That sounds like something like, maybe somebody's representing themselves to be the grandmothers. Oh, it was stern. But see, that's the way I've understood it with all these aspects I've ever come across, dark or light, and nothing more powerful than grandmothers to me. The mother, they're the same thing. Mother Goddess, the grandmothers, Mother Earth, Mother Universe. Um, but is to stand with a voice in command of your power and your field, even in the face of God, Goddess. I am made in the image, and therefore I am that. But yeah, the grandmothers have come in, and the dragons, the white dragons.
I see, I know.
Yeah, so
Well, it's funny because I actually dreamt with my grandmother today, like just a few hours ago.
see, telling you, it's
So
let's see. So you
it's
said
happening.
yeah, but you said the push, uh, something else, and the thing about community. I didn't want to forget it because I was in one of Morgan's sessions yesterday. She does these weekly sessions with groups. So you probably do the same thing, and um, and that's another thing I noticed. It wasn't a big group. It was like 7 people, but everybody, because I guess like she'll ask at the beginning is, do you have any code? And what's your experience been like? What you're asking, what's your experience been the last few days? Do you have any code? Anything that we can bring up to whatever. And what I noticed was that everybody was kind of reflecting what you were talking about in terms of something's definitely happening. And they were talking about the human experience, like the personal human experience was overriding all the stories out there. It was like, this is how I feel, this is what I've been doing, this is what I'm realizing. They were talking about how things are moving so fast and the expansion's happening so fast that all that other stuff is just kind of like you don't even have time for it. You know what I mean? Okay, that's what I wanted to add in there. Go ahead. Your show.
Um, it's everybody's show.
Yeah,
Well, and even with what you said, I mean, every single person's experience adds to the collective experience and adds to how each of us activate one another. Um, Everything we're going through right now, everything we're feeling, everything we're seeing is like this big piece of the puzzle. And it's exciting because we're starting to see more and more and more. Well, yesterday when I took the picture of the sun, it was cloudy, and I took a picture of the sun, and when I looked at it, it looked like an eye, the all-seeing eye. And I'm like, we're seeing so much right now.
Yeah.
We're going higher and higher in our consciousness and expanding so much that we are getting to see so much more than we used to, which is going to bring so much. I mean, when you see things from a new lens, from a new perspective, when you get to see things that you haven't wanted to, that you haven't been wanting to see, or been, rejecting, or been pushing off, or just haven't been able to see, it's going to bring every form of emotion. And even right now, with what you mentioned about getting pissed off, um, that energy, when you open yourself up to it, it brings so much power. It brings like this fuel of like, we're not fooling around. Kind of like what you mentioned, which I had the same exact experience just yesterday. I was a little mad. I was a little pissed off, and I was like very like stern and like, we're not fooling around right now. Like, focus. Had a student yesterday, and it was like, focus. And I'm usually like very chill and very like calm. But yesterday, like, I still had that energy of like, calm and open, but I was stern, and it was like, focus. We gotta focus now. Like, this is it. Can't fool around anymore. And there's a time for it. Like, there's a time, there's the energy of play and fun is still there, but we got to start, like, really, like my mom says, it's time to start, get the show on the road. But from all of these energies, like, yeah, we're gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna get to play, but we also have an enormous amount of work to do
Right.
that you can't fool around and just take it. Take like there's like this blend of like taking it lightly, but also getting shit done, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. That's kind of because they laugh a lot. I call them the white witch coven. They'll make these kind of witchy laughs. Now, here's the
Mhm,
thing.
mhm.
Before everybody, not everybody, before some people get caught up in semantics, okay, whatever you believe is whatever you believe. All right. And I say that to my brother and whoever else is out there, because I know these things are not, we're learning to understand it, but this is what I get. All right. This is what we both get. This is two people that have had many, many experiences together, and also individually, of a divine episodic nature, you might say, a galactic nature, or a biblical nature, in my case. We both recognize from the get-go, this is us we're talking to. The 13 grandmothers are a consciousness that has apparently universal representation or some kind. Now, some may call it Mother Goddess, some may call it Source, some may not even consider it feminine. But these are aspects of us that we're talking to. Okay, this is just how I feel about it. I'll only speak for myself, but I could probably also speak for her and a lot of other people. Ultimately, you're an aspect of me. Okay, which is another twist. As these 13 grandmothers come in, one of them seems to take form in one of our playmates, Hung. Okay, Hung. So I end up going on
Oh.
the right. I'm serious. I'm going on a show. Um, I'm doing a solo show. She decides to jump on because I say, hey, anybody want to come in? And she comes in, and I don't know if you saw, and she's like, oh, are you gonna come out now? And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? And she let the cat out of the bag, right? Well, her human was doing it, but also her soul. So the next day, that I think it was the next night, because sometimes I'll pull the channel and sometimes Morgan pulls it. And all of a sudden she started going into it. And I mean, she was spitting it out. and they were saying the grandmothers were explaining what Hung was doing, why she did it, and from a universal perspective as well as a local perspective. And that was part of it. Like, have you heard over the years people saying our monad will appear to us in human form? Have you ever heard anybody say that? In other words, our aspects, you know how I always say, the highest code exchange, activation, downloads, and channelings come from us talking to each other now, not from us going up to one of our aspects, even the 13 grandmothers. It comes right here. Why? Because we contain it all. So part of this fusion of the non-physical and the physical, we certainly have to at least be open to the physicalization at a given time of an aspect. You might be one of my 13 grandmothers today. And 6 months from now, it could be another physical entity, right? It could be Nicole Menchaca, or it could be, Jill Woodworth or someone. So there's something about that that's coming into play. And there was another thing about the grandmothers, like the information that they're giving us. They're saying to us, we're here now. We have come now. We were told this. We have come now to assist you through this. I would almost want to say like this tougher part, or this final part, or this to clear things, to help you clear things, so you can get like what you were talking about at the beginning. So the fact that so many people mention the mothers and the grandmothers and the dreams and the experiences just in the first few minutes of the show, I think says a lot.
There was somebody had mentioned that they were going through mom stuff, and I said, oh, I'm going through mom stuff too. So like the mom-daughter dynamic is being activated in all of these different ways. And it kind of feels like it's with what you were mentioning, it's activating all of our distortions so that we can get deeper connected to those divine aspects of ourselves, like divine daughter, divine mother, divine grandmother, like all of these different layers. But we have to see where we're not in sync with that. So yeah, the distortions, the emotions, we're going to be triggered, we're going to be activated, all this anger is going to start coming up, so that we can continuously feel that and go deeper into that connection. Because like you mentioned earlier, there's going to be a lot of fire. So with like the anger, like that fuels up a lot of stuff. And the more we open up to this energy, feeling it, just open up. There's nothing to fear. Open yourself up. Let your body alchemize it in whatever way it needs to. We're going to come into that like pure power. The anger moves through your body and it fuels you. It brings you into this space of like, it pushes. And that's the momentum, I feel like that's the movement. We just get so caught up in like the anger as just the destructive force, or the anger as whatever, malicious, or like all these distortions of this energy. And every single one of us has that inside of us. And it's getting activated more and more and more and more and more, so that we can start to just open up and feel it fully. Because underneath it all, there's going to be a lot of pain. There's going to be a lot of hurt. We're going to have to feel deeper levels of that. And however, everyone experiences it, then you're going to get into that pure power, fueling flame that allows you to see more and allows you to take action.
Hmm.
It's this like higher self, pure power, gun ho action mode where it's like it's very powerful. Like I mean, because it's like I feel it and I'm speaking about it, but it's like haven't quite gotten there yet, but I feel it. I feel like this momentum and this fuel where you're like you're either with me or you get out of the way kind of energy. Because which is it's perfect. Like not everyone's going to be ready for that. Not everyone's going to like everyone's in their own journey.
Yeah.
But if you're ready to come along and you're ready to like dive in with me or in whatever form, then we're going.
Yeah. Yeah. And I heard, I saw that with a lot of people too, regardless of what part of the wheel they were turning on. They brought up the medicine wheel a lot too, by the way, so far, because we're still in school with them. But I heard people saying stuff like, I'm not taking any more shit from anybody. And it wasn't like they wanted to go get in a fight. It was just like, hey, I know what my truth is. I know what my actions are. I know what, you know what I mean? It's like what my business is my business kind of thing. And if you want to come with me. Now, here's the big one. Here's a big one for the men to think about, right? And if you're in male form, this because the ones in female form, not in general, they've been the mass of the movement. All right. They've led the way. All these groups, it's 80, 85% women. It's not to say that it's just the makeup. They're more attuned to the women's intuition, to the okay. Now that's leveling off. Now, just bear that in mind. So the masculine, the male, has been on a whole different journey. That's been another thing that we've been shown, Todd and Morgan, which is really just collective, a reflection of the collective, right? And all this stuff's been coming in about the male and the masculine, and it's been coming in slowly, and now it's really starting to come in. So I think everybody here, regardless of what narratives we're adopting, every single one of us can agree that, and let's just go back to 2012, that since 2012, there has been a broadening, expanding presence, influence, power, grace, wisdom of our feminine nature. We can call it Mother Goddess. We can say the divine feminine's landed, however you want to say it, but you cannot deny it. You cannot deny the fact that there is more compassion in this world, that false flag frequencies aren't working anymore, that the war gene is dying, that the patriarch is dying, and therefore anything militaristic, or whatever, how you would say that, anything, even sports, even kick, MMA, you whatever it's called, UFC, football, all the boxing, all this stuff is losing its luster. It's got nowhere to go. Because what's happening, our feminine nature is expanding. It's bringing balance to a world that was distortedly in favor of our distorted masculine, okay, which meant that our true masculine nature has been suppressed too. Now that's where it's starting to change. That's where we're starting to see some changes. And what I'm saying is, men are starting to go through the grind. And this is being felt at every level. I don't care what level or what arena on this earth or what level of fuckery in the government, in the Vatican, it doesn't matter. I don't care if they're full of reptilians and snakes. I don't care what the hell it is. The masculine, the true masculine, her son. The reason I can speak to the grandmothers the way I do is because they know who I am and I know who they are. and they know my heart, right? And they know this isn't an easy deal, and they know this about all of us. But what I'm trying to get at really is that on an individual level, the men are starting to face the things that they didn't want to face. And if you look at what has been put on the table in society in as conversational topics, let's just say, women are emotional. They open up about everything. They support each other in a space of, hey, they can talk about anything. Men aren't like that traditionally. They're not like that. A woman walks into a room with 20 or 15 women at some kind of tea or party or something. She knows 5 of them, and she walks in and she's an emotional mess, and she says, I'm in trouble. And all of them will come talk to her. They'll all listen to her. Now, men can't do that. But now here's the thing. So now what's happening because of this feminine influence is this feminine expansion, our feminine expansion, my feminine expansion, your feminine expansion, is our masculine is now finding himself in the same space that she did, which is, I can come out now, I can talk now, I will be supported, I won't be ridiculed, I won't be oppressed, I won't be shut down, I won't be embarrassed. Because let me tell you something. You ask any man on the face of this earth, one of the most destructive, horrible, traumatic things that can happen to him is when he opens his heart and he speaks his truth, his intimate truth, especially to a woman, and then it gets turned on him. That, my friends, I can tell you straight up, is the number one reason men don't say shit. Because it only takes one time by their mother or their girlfriend or their sister or their aunt or someone to ridicule him for. So this isn't a victim story, and this isn't a sob story. This is just an observation that the reality is imagine a bunch of troops on one side and a bunch of troops on the other, men, and they're coming to the fight, and they're all coming into this consciousness where their hearts are opening and they're questioning, why am I doing this? Why am I about to go kill this guy? Imagine that impact on. And so, like, I just saw a very credible report, and I'm very careful about what I read, that, and for some reason I feel like this is connected, that in Ukraine they are now sending loads of women to fight because they don't have any men left. Okay, now think about the energetics of that. How long, let's say we're one of a few thousand that are actually over there, that actually really know what's going on. But imagine being there on one side and seeing the other side filling up with women, and you're supposed to go and injure or kill them. Think about the energetic impact of that with these transformational energies that are occurring, and the effect they're having on the feminine and the masculine. So I guess to close it out, what I'm saying is that the feminine in us is rising. I mean, it's anchored, it's landed. The grandmothers are here. They're kicking ass and taking names. I got news for you. It's the real shit. Okay. At the same time, their sons are rising. And as that occurs in the physical form, the male psyche itself needs that same space, like we try to provide at Solji, of acceptance, support, encouragement, nourishment, family, tribe, non-judgment that she needed. Women could not speak until they felt safe, and it's the same here. But the turnaround won't be as long, because the women, our feminine side paved the way.
That's
Sorry.
everything that you just mentioned feels very powerful. And I do agree with you that it's almost like the masculine turnaround is going to be a lot faster.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot quicker. Because even with like the frequency of the Divine Mother, the embrace, the love, we're feeling a lot more loved and supported, speaking up and sharing and expressing ourselves. And so that energy that, yes, is being anchored, it's already here. We're embodying it more and more and more and more, is going to support the embodied men as well as embodied women really feel loved, safe, secure, or I usually use those words, but like the embrace and the support the energy of the support, of being supported, no matter how you feel, no matter what you're going through, no matter no matter what, like doesn't matter how you feel, it doesn't matter what you need to express, you're going to be supported. Doesn't matter what you've done, doesn't matter what you've allowed, what we've created. Like this is a new field, a new ground where nothing could ever take us away from that love. Nothing could ever separate us, could ever completely rupture that connection with who we are as a light, as a soul. And so coming into the space where, even when previously when I was mentioned seeing everything, just having a greater view and perception of everything we've allowed, everything we've created, every role we've played as a man, as a woman, in whatever way, in whatever existence, like seeing everything for just what it is and completely shifting the story or completely shifting the narrative and completely starting from blank, from zero, from scratch, and saying this is how it's going to be from now on. We're opening ourselves up to a whole new way. Yes, we
Mm.
have to realize and recognize what's happened and what we've done and what we've allowed and what we've created, but we're no longer creating from that space.
Yeah.
We're building
Yeah.
a whole new world where we're conscious of everything that has happened. And with that awareness, we get to build and create a whole new reality and a whole new world and a whole new experience, not just for me, but for everybody else.
Yeah. Grandmothers. That's some serious stuff, the grandmothers. Um, and like we
It
mention
is.
it, yeah, we mention it, and there's so many comments that came right up, about mothers and grandmothers. And so many clues too, by the way, like you were talking about at the beginning of the show, and what I was talking about, these people were talking about in their session last night, these 6 or 7 people. Another way to say what they were saying and what you were saying is we're reading the code. We're reading the code that's in front of us easier and easier. We're understanding to see things for what they are because we're seeing the symbols, the code, the synchronicities. And then you're having what you probably run into with your work is situations where there's more than one person there. Like, did you just say that? Or why is that light getting brighter behind you when you start talking about such and such? Or even this discussion about the masculine, the male. See, it's like the way I understand it for myself is certain things throughout my light body spectrum have been achieved, to include sacred union. Now we kind of know that because we had sacred union before we ever got popped into this world, right? That's always with us. That's the seed, right? That's never leaves us. We might have built these things so we lose ourselves, and so that's the whole idea. But so we had that. But so I, like in my case, if I just use myself as an example, and then you go into the dissension and you come out and so you pick up all these certain things and these alignments in the energetic field, and sometimes you know it consciously and sometimes you don't, and sometimes you feel it in your body, which is more and more what I'm listening to is my body. My body's just like, do this, don't do that, like that doesn't feel right, don't drink that, don't eat that. But then the human psyche, we might call it the subconscious, the house of mirrors, that shadow land, that you know what I mean? I mean that whatever that is. Now but this is where things like PTSD come from, recurring nightmares. This is where we store the real wild shit, and we don't even know the extent of it because we could very well have been involved in a simulation that we're getting mass hypnotized and mud floods and this and that, and things aren't even what they were 100 years ago. We have, what I mean? So there's this whole convoluted thing, but at the core of it is this journey of a human who's been told their whole existence, you're not relevant, you're stupid, you need angels, you need guides, you need something because something's wrong with you. Well, we've reached a point now, okay, where I firmly believe we've been popped out on the other side with this 11-11-11 thing. I firmly believe that use the word mastery, I would say full divine embodiment with all of its skills and abilities are available. Does that mean it's going to happen like that? It could, but I don't know. But this awareness is growing so quickly. The processing is growing so quickly. People are moving through it. And somebody described it yesterday. They said, everything's unraveling. I know where I'm going, but it's just like it's unknown. So it's like this feeling of everything's falling apart, but yes, I know everything's okay. And the Solidarity Fest is a perfect example. This is the third one. It makes no sense. Very little promotion. My mom gets hurt, I can't even do anything for 6 weeks. I'm trying to do the network. It's just not, and I'm like, oh my God, is this going to be a train wreck? But no, they just keep showing me, no, it's different this time. It's different this time. Watch the energy work. Keep your energy where it needs to be. That's the most important thing. And with your relations. And I'm watching the effects of it. It's crazy. Cool, crazy. But the last thing, what I was trying to say is that at the core of it is the recognition, acknowledgement, honoring, reverence for the human being aspect. So the human being aspect is the last one to come to the party, yet it's also the one leading the charge. It's a paradox. So are we the tail that's being wagged by the dog? Yet we're also the one that consciously brings in the last piece of alignment. So what does that mean? It means that as women and as men, that we take in these lives that we've led and as you said so eloquently, see them for what they are. See them for what they are. The experience was the expansion of the universe. The experience was the expansion of the soul and continues to be, but now we are in conscious command, not control, conscious command of our field. responsible co-creators, mature souls that are one by one, piece by piece, saying, I'm not participating in this anymore. It was fun while it lasted. Put down the guns. I'm coming with an open heart. No matter who shows up in front of me, I'm opening my heart because I trust now. And I think trust, from what I experienced with the sessions that we did with Morgan, but also reading other people's stuff and seeing what they're talking about in these past few days. Trust, like really trusting, like trust faith. You can't fake it. And with this, I did the last solo I did. This was kind of the heart of it. Faith is action. So when I see Samantha Rodriguez, one of the 20 producers on the Solargy Network, and this isn't about the Solargy Network, this is a perfect example, a physical perfect example. I see her, and it may not be forever, and that's not the point. Every day for a week or two, starts putting up all the shows that are going to be on Solargy Network onto social media to let everybody know. See, to me, that's the action of faith. Oh, this is what we're doing. Okay, well, I'm gonna pick up a shovel and I'm gonna start building the road too. And what happens is, so this is that energy in form. And so what happens is somebody sees it and goes, oh wow, look what she's doing. Oh, I'm gonna do this. And then somebody else sees it. Oh, I'm gonna do this piece. And I'm gonna do this piece. That's what I see happening. And I'm blessed to see it happening in a crazy way with Solargy Network. It's crazy. Doesn't make any sense.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's powerful because then we start to realize, and by the way, I have been taking a break, but I am going to come back to that. We start to realize that we each have a tool, a skill, a shovel in which we can support the building and the rebuilding of a whole new reality. So not everyone's going to do the same thing. Every
Right.
single one of us has a special role. Every single one of us has specific missions. And when we start to open up and start to see, oh yeah, like I can do this. Oh yeah, I have this available. And we're each putting like our own brick to building our new house and our new world. It's so true. Every single person is going to start to see what they have available to support. It doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't like there's no quantitative of like, oh, I can only do this little bit or it's something. Everything is something and everything is huge. We all just have to keep building and keep opening up so that we can see what else we can do to support one another.
Yeah.
And if everything starts small. But what you mentioned of, taking that action step and taking that confident step into whatever you're being guided to do activates all of these other people that are ready to also take that step.
Yeah.
Because I've also been seeing that within my own group of like all of a sudden, and that we know we're doing this together, but it's, I'm inviting everybody to share. This is about sharing from your heart, sharing your light, sharing what supports you. And all of a sudden I see, all of these people that have never shared, that have never commented, just, you
Yeah.
know, following that, supporting, sharing their light, sharing more of what they love. And it activates more and more and more, and it's this ripple effect
Yeah.
that's growing. It's expanding, and I mean, keep seeing, like keep talking about like we're being the reason why we're being pushed right now is because we're opening up this humongous door gateway, um, this coming year, and I see the next 2 years being pretty massive, where everything is just going to continually change to support us.
Yeah. Yeah.
We talk about like mass awakenings and collective awakenings, like we have to be ready for that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Like when the grandmothers said that about the either ignite and infuse the light within yourself, or we're going to infuse you. It wasn't a threat. I thought it was like originally I thought it was like a like you got some time on this one. And then I realized that it was a warning, like a heads up, like we're about to do this right now to you. Boom. But back to what you said too about the action. I was just using you as an example. See, I realized with everything that I'm into and the absolute uh unconventional, atypical, senseless from the old human perspective way that everything's occurring with the network and with the festival, that this new way of living was coming into play, and that I was being, on a personal level, I'm just saying this, but I feel like this is what's happening for all of us. We have to get out of the way. We have to allow that third energy or that Holy Spirit or whatever you want to call it, that part of it to present itself and let it unfold instead of trying to force everything. Now, this is crazy because I have all these people going, I need to know this and I need to know that and I need to know this. And I'm like standing there going, I don't fucking know. I just know that the schedule's going to be put together as we come together. You know what I mean? Like whatever the details are. And then you get a bomb. Oh, the last 20 shows on the network, we had a glitch and they all got cut off at 30 minutes. Now they all got to be re-uploaded. So you have this thing drop in the middle of you while you're trying to build this way, to build these creations with the new Trinity energy, and what is very unconventional and not familiar with everybody yet. And then you have this big poop drop in front of you, and you just go, oh, okay. So I write a letter to everybody and say, here's the situation. And you just keep plugging away. And it just keeps forming weirdly. Even like telepathic conversations. Like I'm talking to one person and they're like, oh, I need such and such, and I need this money and I need this and that. And it's all good. But I'm just like, no, I can't do that. Like I like the person, and we're great together. But what happens? I don't really say anything because I don't know what to say. And then what happens? I get a communication from them. They're like, hey man, don't worry about that. We're going to do this no matter what. Like there's an overriding thing. So like in terms of the Soulgy Fest, as an example, I realize now, this was just last night as they were coming in, while I was sleeping, it was this isn't a you know symposium with speakers. This isn't a where a bunch of musicians come and perform. This isn't about people trading their wares and their services and their products, like say like a vendor type situation. This is simply about a gathering. And I went, oh my God, you're fucking serious? No, yeah, this is just a gathering. It's just a way to get people to come, almost like you got a bunch of Teslas and they're all backing up to this big charger. And you know what I mean? And you plug in
I
and
love that.
right? And everybody plugs in to this universal charger that everybody has a receptacle for. And not only are you all pulling from the universal mind at the same time, but you're also exchanging code with each other, right? And then you go out into the world and you pull like the apostles, right? You go out into the world and spread the word, energetically speaking, metaphorically speaking. And and that's so apparent to me, because it's not about the gross number, although you could count the people that watch it online as being part of it. But you can't argue with it, because for the people that are coming in person, there's at least 30 people coming from outside of this country. Now that's crazy confirmation. And it's a sign of the collective.
That's cool. I love 330. The number 30, 30 plus.
Yeah.
It's so important. I just want to, by the way, I'm gonna plug in the dates. So it's December 8th, 9th, and 10th in
Yeah.
Houston, Texas, for anybody that would like to and are guided and are ready to join us. It's
And online.
so,
You can do online too.
and online, yes, online
Mm-hmm.
too. Um, I actually had kind of a similar experience recently. Um, Going back to what you said about like details. The linear mind wants details. It
Yeah.
wants to know in advance
Yeah.
everything because we're so used to that level of control, because we were so out of our higher self. We were so disconnected from our higher self that we didn't trust. And so this is a whole new playing field where trusting is key.
Right.
You're in full trust and you're in full flow and full allowance. And yeah, there's gonna be people that are gonna be like, very triggered and very activated, which is part of the point. Um, and kind of with my experience, I just simply share like this is a whole new way. I go with the flow. There's no set time, there's no set structure. You just allow everything to flow as it needs to flow, and it always flows perfectly. And that's it. Like this is breaking out of the linear, the trying to control. I mean, I'm sure you're gonna have everything that we need when we need it. Like and even at the beginning, I'm like, when you were talking to me about it, it's like it's a lot. You shared a lot of information with me that my mind was like, all of these questions are popping up. But inside of me, I was like, just relax. Like everything's gonna be fine. Like you don't need to know every single detail, and you don't need to know every detail, every specific thing. Just trust, just open up. Like it's a beautiful opportunity. And that's also kind of the push of like not knowing, but yet fully knowing. Which energy are you going to be more anchored to? The worry, the stress, I'm like, oh my God, I need to know all this stuff because I need to plan ahead, I need to figure it out. Or are you going to be opening yourself up more and more and more to that essence of you that knows everything's going to be fine, everything's going to work out, everything's going to flow perfectly. You just need to allow yourself the opportunity to say yes, open up. Oh, are you muted?
Yeah, I did, because I coughed. But no, it's because
Okay.
which means you have to take an action. Now, it doesn't mean that it's right or wrong, but if you sit back here and go, no, 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 I can't do that because of this, I can't do that because of that, doesn't make any sense. And then you watch it go down and you're going, oh, you know what? They did it. They did it. They did it. It's kind of like what I talked about with you sharing. It's not about whether you do it again. It's not about that. It's a moment when the thought, words, and actions, the Trinity energy are aligned, and you can see it through the action that's threading it onto the grid. It lights somebody up. It's just a superficial, the story part of it. Beneath it is the energy, and it's the same thing. So even like what you were talking about when I like approached you with the Sology Fest thing, I'm actually in the same boat right now that you're in. See, the whole thing's built that way. It's saying, come a little closer, come a little closer. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Don't we got to do this and this? No. Just come over here. So if you look at it as an example, it's very unconventional. So we're actually going to start gathering on December the 1st. It officially doesn't start till the 8th. That's 7 days. In those 7 days, I have a feeling that as people come in and we congregate and we do some lives on social media and people start to feel it, that energy is going to come through. Because if you go back to the first two Soldier Fests, yeah, we have some great speakers and some great musical, artistic performances and instructional stuff, workshop type stuff. Yeah, but the number one thing was walking around and going, hey, I know you. And it's not from Facebook. It's like, I know you. Oh my God. I know you. It's that soul recognition. And then the things that occur from there. And that's really, I believe, the push that we're getting. The push that we're getting is to be seen. And not just to be seen like, oh, I'm out on the other side now. That was a hell of a ride. We're all good now. No, we're to be seen as, hey, I'm on the other side. I don't know what the F just happened. I'm integrating. I'm not 100%, my body's going through this. As a man, I'm feeling that, I discovered this about my feminine side. It's not all this fluffy stuff. It's not. It's talking about the pain, not in a victim way, but in a way that this is what we came for. Look at what we created. We're taking this pain and this suffering and the perspective of victimization, and we're altering what? Are we removing veils or removing the ones over our eyes? Like we're seeing the value of the human condition and the human journey while we're still in the body, which is crazy. And at the same time, the more transparent that we can be, our body's taking on what we would have considered supernatural qualities. Regeneration. I know people here regenerating. I'm regenerating. I should be crippled right now. And, and my back is reconstructing. I know so many people. So this is what we're getting into. We're still not done with 2023 yet.
Everything that we haven't yet finished or completed or resolved is going to pop up, which is part of the acceleration. Like everything's gonna move a lot faster because it's loose ends need to be cleared, need to be released. And there may be quite a bit of that. So the universe is like, we're gonna push you. We're gonna push you beyond what you thought you could do, but it won't be like way more than you can handle and way more than what you're ready for. Like we're actually way more ready for a lot more things than we can perceive, which is part of the push of like the universe just pushing a
Yeah.
little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more
Yeah.
to really feel what we're capable and what we're ready for. Because the next couple of years are going to be.
Man, I'm not even thinking the next couple of days. I'm just one. It's really helped me a lot to just go one thing at a time.
One.
Like I have people come up to me throughout my experience, be it personal or you could say professional, but that doesn't sound right. And they'll say something of an absolute nature. Like they'll say, well, such and such is happening, or such and such is going to be there, or such and such this. So I'm not doing this. And I'll be like, well, why not just see what occurs? Why not just see what unfolds? Rather than making a judgment and limiting the experience. Like this is part of it, right? This is part of it. And you're right about the we have everything we need thing. Because if I think about the experience with the grandmothers over these few days, and I know it's still ongoing, there's been this cackling. There's been this tremendous wisdom that's so down to earth. There's been this what would you say, understanding that everything that led me, I can only speak for myself, to this point was true, and that the fact that they showed up says it all. And then, me getting upset and they're being shamanic and asking me these questions to piss me off so I could go find the answer, and going through all that stuff, and then actually giving me validation in a way that on a personal level nobody could understand but me. It was incredible, the things that they showed me. And then after, I remember this happened like 3 nights ago. I went in the car to go to the store, and I'd been through all this that I'm describing kind of in a general way. And as I was turning the corner and kind of like reflecting on, man, they asked me that question, I got pissed off, this is how it happened. When I went to breakthrough, I started laughing, and it was just all this. And then as I turned right, I glanced to my left and I could see the 13 grandmothers, and they all had their hands together, and they all were like this. And I went, wow. The mother told me early this year, when you love the way I love you, that's when you'll know. When you can love everything and anything and truly love it, because you can't fake it. And what does that mean? That means the conscious lifestyle of pure compassion and constant communion. Because our soul's in the house. Well, I'm glad I'm glad that, yeah.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much
Yeah, there was something that
for
you brought up.
sharing.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for, having me on. Yeah, I did something last night that I have never done in my life. And I feel like, because of the way things have played out, that I need that it's something that because look, I know that I'm involved with the team that's say on the front, and have been on the front end of the transformation specific to the man, the masculine, right? Because it's where you have the vast majority of a community like Sology is 80%, 75% female. You got to understand that in the world, not just pre-2012, but in the world where you carried certain frequencies or rays, I would say, and you're talking about due to experience just with the men, right? You're in the vast minority. You're in the vast minority. So in order for that part of us to come out that we forgot about it. We knew our feminine was suppressed. We didn't realize that the masculine was suppressed, the voice. And the reason we didn't realize it is because he was the apparatus for the patriarchal. He was the one that got drafted and went to war. He's the one that had to go to work. He's the one that had to go get tampons for his daughters at 2:00 in the morning when he's, working 14 hours a day. You know what I mean? He's the workhorse. So in order for this masculine voice to come up, which means that it will de-escalate competition and comparison, etc., that part of us has to find itself. I can't share with you who I am and what I know of myself if I don't know myself. And we already know we've entered another space where we're not going to go lay on a couch and somebody's going to give us a bunch of sessions. That's old school. Practitioners now will work with somebody 1, 2, 3 times, and that's it. Because people are they're that effective when they open to each other. So what I'm saying is, last night I did something I've never done ever in my life. And it's actually a creation, right? Something I did with a pen and paper. And I don't feel like I can share it because I shared it with myself last night as a man. And now I want to share it with that mirror that is my feminine, right? Because I've shared it with myself as a man and as my feminine, right? And I want to share it with her before I share it with other people, if I ever do. It's the craziest thing, though. It was I've never been able to draw. Like I can't even write. When I write, I have to write like, what do you call it? Not cursive, the other one. I have to like an elementary. And even then it's hard to read. Yeah, where you just like T, A, nothing's connected. Well, I started sketching last night, and I made this self-portrait thing of an activation happening in real time. And it was the craziest thing because it was like, I guess, when people do light language and stuff like that, it was just and everything was carrying code. And I'm like, holy shit. And I would look at it and go, what's going on here? And it'd be, so but the reason I bring that up is not because of that particular incident, but I feel like it was really much an indicator of what had been trying to come through, right? And again, going back 60 years ago today, not to be morbid, but if you look at the qualities, the energetic qualities, and get away from the narrative and the CIA and all that stuff, right? What was JFK representing? He was the minority in a patriarchal / man's world, allowing the feminine to come out. Compassion, pull everybody out of Vietnam, get rid of the nuclear weapons, peace deals, civil rights. So the mother, and look at the prominence of his mother in historically speaking of that woman, Rose Kennedy. So what was happening? The feminine was starting to come out. And what happened in the 60s? We had a push. We had a push for this more open-mindedness. And what happened? And this is what I'm trying to say. In the space that we came from, when you were operating in that space, as I did really all my life, you were in the vast minority. And you better be good, because if you weren't, you're going to get your ass kicked and you're going to get killed. So you had to be both soft and strong and trying to stay in balance. So what I'm saying now is this masculine side of us that's coming out is walking into a space that he provided for her so that she could come out and speak and fulfill her power. And now she does it for him, you could say. Now our feminine nature has said, oh, I didn't know this part of you. We forgot about this part of you. Warrior, put your arms down. Show us your heart. Let us know who you really are, right? And so I feel like that's what's happening. I'm sure glad that I got all confused today and got the time wrong, and in your nature, you're just like, oh, that's no problem. I'll just go do something else for a while.
Yes, always, always going with the flow with everything that happens because our universal higher selves knew exactly what needed to happen and when and how and what time. So it's those details that I don't as much as and one of the things that was really funny, like I would share my own show and then all of a sudden, oh, never mind, I'm not doing it that time anymore. Whoops. But it's like it doesn't matter. It's gonna be up. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. It's all gonna be great. Um, but I just want to say thank you so much for sharing
Mm,
what you just shared. And I feel you with there's a lot of things that we're doing and that we're seeing that we have never done or seen before.
exactly. Exactly.
It's so powerful where we are right now and
Yeah.
what our experiences are right now. And even with what you said, it's like I'm not really thinking too much ahead, but I'm here. I'm being more present. I'm looking at my now, which is always going to be key. Like right now, everything that's unfolding and everything that we get to see and create is massive.
Oh yeah.
Is quote unquote the future. Like we're already there. We
Mm,
don't have to look too far. We're already here creating it. We're creating everything. We're recreating our quote unquote past. We're creating our future. We're in this moment. Everything is happening in this now. And I feel like when you're more anchored in that space, that pure space, what we're capable of creating is, like you mentioned, beyond what we thought was possible and beyond what we've ever done before.
yeah.
And it'll just continue to grow. Like this is
Yeah.
just the beginning. This is just
Yeah, I know. I know that when we were with the grandmothers, which was like it was like a fast track. And they're like, you're just in nursery school. What? No. But this is what came into me or came when I say I don't think it's like it just pops in. I think you can look back and it's been building and building and building. And we have so many different streams that sometimes we forget that. But yesterday, as part of my experience yesterday, I had a moment, and I get confused with during the day and dream state now over the last couple of weeks. Like, where did I get this? What happened? And I have like a flash. Oh, that was a dream. No, 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 that wasn't, because I said this to my mother or to Morgan or something happened. I can't remember. But what happened was I was in tune with my body and knowing that my left side is feminine, and I could feel it all. It was crazy. And then the right side. And I was doing some function, and my feminine side was, let's say, operating at like 100%, like it was in fluid motion or whatever the task was. And the masculine side still had a little bit of tenseness. Like that part of me had gone to war and come back, and it's all good now, but I'm beat to hell. And I'm still like, like a dog that's been beat too much, and I'm still like a little bit skittish or something. But I'm almost here now, right? And I could really feel that relationship between my feminine within me and my masculine. And it was the first time that I ever felt that I ever actually felt, I mean, I might have done it, like in a exercise. Okay, my feminine's over here, my masculine's over here. Let's talk, or let's make love or whatever, whatever the case is, right? But this was different. This was actually showing me through the functionality and the motions of life, I guess. And I could feel the masculine getting stronger and getting repaired. You know, the final repairs being done, or whatever the case was. But it was in that moment I understood. I said, oh, so this is like, I really understood the feminine, my feminine, me. Like, this is the strength and the power. Because with this there, this other side of me can do anything, can build anything, can create anything, you know. And I thought that was pretty interesting, because even though that's not like let's say a Kundalini sacred union sensation of sacred sexuality or Kundalini energy or chi coming up through your body, to me it's the same thing. To me it was that impactful. It was like, wow, you talk about boots on the ground and intel while you're in the middle of the experience. You know, like when you have a dream, you ever have dreams and you're like thinking in your dream, oh, I'm in a dream, you know, and you have both consciousnesses, or you hear yourself sleeping, snoring, or talking in your sleep, kind of like that. Like, I felt like it was some level of embodiment. I'm excited to see you. Well, you're going to be here. What? Are you going to be here on that Thursday or Friday, I think? Right.
I'm gonna get there at the weekend. I'll be there
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited too. It's gonna
Are
be
you bringing a
great.
friend? I know you were talking about maybe bringing a friend. Were you
Yeah. I mentioned to her and talking about the schedule, and she asked me for the schedule. I'm like, at some point I'll know the
well,
schedule.
it's
But
going to be
but her
such
but
a,
her
yeah.
weekend is open, so I feel like regardless of, she'll
Well,
be able to.
I think what we'll probably do, and I've never been more confident in the making it up as you go thing than I have in my past, which I've always used it in the past, but this time I really 100%, like, not second guessing it, because I know it's all going to
Mm-hmm.
come together. But I think what we'll probably end up doing is on that Monday, maybe even the previous weekend. December 1 is a Friday. There won't be a lot of people there that weekend. We will be fixing the place up even on this coming weekend. We're going to go out there and just look around, maybe do a live stream. But that I think we'll be doing some social media live streaming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and probably up to Thursday night, which is a kind of a preview mixer concert kind of thing. And then for the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll do the online energy exchange, right? Yeah, so I don't know. We're just gonna mix it up and make it up as we go. But yeah, we will ultimately have like a real-time schedule. It'll be real time. We have to go to soulgyfest.com, look at it. Oh, okay, this is what's kind of like our programming schedule. It'll be like that. We'll plug it in.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's fine. I'm actually really excited about you going with the flow, um, and trusting in that guidance, regardless of what anybody else. It's like, no, we're confidently trusting, and we know that everything's gonna be aligned, we're gonna know what we need to know, um when we know.
Yeah, that's right. Well, thanks for having me on. And
Oh,
God,
thank you so
I
much,
think we
Todd.
how long did we go on? We went on for a while, I think. 84 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I'm really looking forward to meeting you and so many other people. It's been a
Yes.
interesting ride, and it's going to be interesting to see all the different the way everybody mixes. Yeah, yeah. It's
In
I
the
think
in the physical.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's going to be more impactful. It's a third. Three is always, and then because there's people coming from such great distances, which is mind blowing, right? It's just mind blowing. Like
Yes.
you're just going, you know what? I'd rather have 100 people come, 30 come from out of country. Like that's huge than have 500. There's something about the intimacy of it all. So, you know,
Mhm.
when you're in a huge crowd, because I used to go to a lot of festivals, outdoor festivals when I was dancing a lot and stuff, listen to music, you know, you're lost in the crowd. It's like you might be standing down there and, you know, you see some, hey, man, you know, way up on the hill. But here, everywhere you go, everywhere you
Mhm.
turn, hey, it's you again. Hey, I know you. Wait, who are you? You know, I mean, it's like this soul recognition is a powerful, powerful thing that we don't even have to consciously understand. We pick up the charge, you might say, that we expand the frequency or our vibrational field, and then we go out into the world and share it.
Mhm.
It's a yeah. Okay. So anyway,
I'm
okay.
excited. Thank you so
I'm
much.
thank you, because I really want to get back on here. And now that I got uh you know, some things set up yesterday, which I sent to all the producers, the next step is just here it is. You guys can do it yourself. And you know, and then that means that
Yes.
I can go do what y'all do and you can do what I do, but we only do it for ourselves. So it's not
Yes.
like a burden on anybody. And you don't need someone to go do
Mhm.
one specific thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's been worth it. I lost a little bit of hair on the way, but hopefully it'll come back. Thank you,
It
Samantha.
will, because I have to.
Ah, oh, that's good.
Thank you, everybody,
Hope it's
for
good.
being here as well. Such a pleasure. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you.